I think we can video stream her now. Let me add her into. Great. So I think Suman will, as Suman is joining in, I'll also, any questions that you have from your side, you're welcome to ask. Hey Suman, good evening to you.
Good evening, Preeta.
Yeah, so great. And I'm so sorry. Last time I think we had this live call, and because of technology issues, my phone got heated up. And, you know, the whole thing abruptly stopped. And I was trying to recover the video. That too didn't happen, but I'm glad that we're talking now. In fact, as speaking to all the viewers, there are few of them who are MBAs. There are a few others who are watching us. And I've been sort of interacting with them in terms of what do I do and why is it that I'm doing this whole interview series. And so we were just having a conversation before you came in. So it was great. So thank you, Suman, again for joining in. And I think for the benefit of the viewers, let me introduce you to all of them. So Suman is actually an awesome individual. And as I said, even earlier when I met her in BNI, one thing that really struck me was her energy. You can just absorb into that and just feel very good for the entire day. So that's, I think, her biggest takeaway. So what she does is touching the lives of people to scale up emotionally, physically, and financially. She's a leadership development coach and a financial advisor. She's the MD of C. Regis Business Solutions and C. Regis Financial Services. And so as I said, Suman, we'll once you're comfortable, we'll start off. Let me reiterate my objective of this entire interview series that I'm doing. So the objective being that this sort of video becomes like a ready reckoner for women and anyone who looks at it to sort of take suggestions, ideas and actions that they can implement for themselves in their day-to-day life. So we all have our own challenges, and I was like trying to bring the women angle into it because I'm a women's independence coach. All of us have challenges, whether man or woman, but there are certain data points to show that there are gaps, and I just wanted to take our discussion from here, right?
Sure.
Suman, so any thoughts to this?
First of all, I love the practical aspect of that, Preeta. We started this off. You yourself faced a lot of challenges on the technology front, but we're picking up the threads from where we left. So the practical angle that this program has taken is something that really touches my heart. It's not about the theory. It is not about knowing what to do. It is about applying what you know in your day-to-day life. So that is what I feel was superb. Today also we had glitches. Again, we picked up the threads. So this is what I really feel needs to be implemented. Again, you rightly said, whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. We just need to move on. And technology is here to stay. More than ever before, we realize it now. It was so easy for me to call out, to my friends or to my, technology teachers who happen to be my sons, and, tell them that this is the glitch I'm coming through and please fix it for me. But today I feel that I need to scale up. It's high time I learn to do things myself. Of course, they are always there to help me. But I do believe that, especially for women, I have that little soft corner where I feel that women need to understand that gone are those days when you could probably reach out to other people and say, I'm stuck, or play the helpless blonde and say, I'm stuck, I need your help. Today, even men look up to women if they are more self-confident. At least if they strive to do more. So I'm loving what you're doing, touching the lives of so many women. I really think it's a lovely journey you've undertaken.
Thanks, Suman, for saying that, and thanks for that encouragement in some sense, because since it's close to my heart, I guess the passion comes in. So what I wanted to, while you were talking, there were a lot of questions going on in my mind, and one of it is, when you said, especially for women, gone are the days when, you show the helpless kind of a face and say, hey, help me. And going back to the whole thing of men are from Mars and women are from Venus, right?
Venus, yeah.
Yeah, so we somehow, it is assumed, or I don't, probably there is some truth to it, that women are good in relationships and men with machines. And you see, I used to not be a believer of this, but when you see a small girl, a child playing, and a boy child playing, you see the differences in what they play with. You would see that immediately a boy will pick up a car, and a girl probably would prefer picking up a doll and playing with that, right? And I don't know why. This is probably how the nature is. So given that, you see, as we grow up with those things, there is a sort of a resistance that sort of we have with technology. Is that true? What are your thoughts? And given the digital world or the space that we are in today, that resistance, somehow I have faced that. I've gone through my own journey, and it's like a sort of a mental game. But what are your thoughts, Suman? I mean, is there truly that resistance? And what else? What are your thoughts?
Preeta, I honestly believe it's the narrative you keep telling yourself. I don't believe that there is too much of a difference. You mentioned that if there's a child, he naturally picks up the car, a male child, and a girl child will naturally pick up the doll. Actually, it is what we instill into them. That's my firm belief. I would like to believe as the man grows, he'd rather pick up a doll than the car out there. but it is what we keep telling ourselves and start believing in it. As parents, as well-wishers, as being born in the society that we are victims of our own generation, we are victims of our own society. And I'm deliberately using this term victim because we are so conditioned by what we see. I would differ from what you said, that, that very naturally you see a boy pick up a machine. No, I think today times have moved on. If you leave the child in independent space, if you allow him to grow by himself, as the modern parents do, they give a lot of space to the young children. Then I personally feel that no, it's just an inquiry that comes into the nature of the young boy or girl, irrespective of gender. It doesn't really matter. He or she will pick up. Now that is about the infant stage. As we grow older, we get more and more conditioned. So we naturally believe that a woman's place is in the kitchen. In fact, I remember teaching my children when they were, in their primary school, saying the mother's job is in the kitchen and the father's job, who's the breadwinner? It's the father. You just look at this. I was teaching my children. It was in the curriculum. Today, I mean, parents, of course, they are more liberal, they are more exposed to a very real world, which is so different from the yesteryears, where they now condition the children saying immaterial, whether you're a boy or a girl, you need to help out in the house, you need to be financially independent. And that's where I love the three sides of any individual, be it a man, woman, or at whichever stage of their life they are in. I believe there's a financial angle, there is a physical angle, and there's an emotional angle. I reiterate, Preeta, I've spoken to you, I know, many times about it, but I can't emphasize enough. Financially, man or a woman, please be independent. Physically, man or a woman, please be independent. Emotionally, man or a woman, never, and I repeat, never be independent. It's such a beautiful, harmonious life if you're dependent on each other. You're dependent on your spouse, you're dependent on your children, emotionally. I'm only using the word emotionally. You just get, that is differentiates man and a machine, I feel, that you have a heart, you start thinking from your heart and not just from your brain. And that emotion angle is what binds you to another human being. I'm emotionally connected to you today because you're touching the life of so many women. You can argue why not men. I have no answer to that, no good answer to that. Of course, it's great. But like you said, in this front, in the technology front, we are conditioned by what we've, been brought up and our society and the expectations. So we are conditioned that a woman will be technologically behind us. And I'd like to share one example with you, Preeta. I've started this session called Indian Business Premier League. A person who started off her journey in the entrepreneurial world was totally technology challenged. That's me. Today I'm doing a session which is technology driven. Indian Business Premier League. It is teaching women how to run their business by experiencing it through a simulation platform. I don't know if I've made the definition too long. It's basically running a business and learning through your experiences, running a virtual business. So it's technology driven. And I find that most of the participants happen to be men. In the team, you might have women, but most of them, and I was doing a session in the UAE where I was told in no uncertain terms, very candidly I was told, we don't want a woman facilitating the session for us.
Okay.
So these are the mindsets, which I feel for a woman to break out from this, it's going to take a lot of grit from a woman. And let's not forget the men who stand by us when we face challenges. So I hate male bashing. I definitely feel the men of today are standing by us, and every stage of our life, I feel their support, I feel their encouragement. So I think we need to express our gratitude towards that. Those are my thoughts on digital, the digital world that we are entering now.
Sure. So Vivek is joining. He's saying very interesting point of view. How true. So looks like there's one who's made a comment on that. So great to hear that from Vivek. Yeah, sure. So I totally agree with what you said, Suman. I mean, the whole idea is obviously not to say that women are better than men or things like that, but to sort of bring the angle that how do you sort of bridge the gap so that we can encourage. Because in reality, there is a gap, of that in terms of data points and reports, McKinsey reports that are there. So then if that is the reality, how do we sort of bridge the gap? How do we get the women population to get more visible? And that's my next question actually to you as to what are those 2-3 things you think that women need to do to make themselves more visible in the digital world? Because, of course, everywhere in that sense. But I want to bring the focus to women power and digital entrepreneurs, that being the topic. Yeah. So what do you think are the probably top 2 actions that women need to take to make themselves more visible in this world, in the digital space?
Preeta, very honestly, I don't think there's a recipe for success. I don't think I can put my finger on any 1 or 2 things. I think it's a whole lot of realization. If you want to remain relevant today, we are experiencing, we are going through it today. Can you not be on the digital platform? Whether you are playing a support role to your partner or whether you yourself are exploring opportunities, how will you reach out to the masses today? From the 25th of March, we are seeing there is social distancing, there is a lockdown, there are so many challenges. If we don't upgrade ourselves now, so what will make us upgrade ourselves? Can I put my finger on any 1 or 2 points? No, I can't. I just need, it has to be driven from within. We need to tell ourselves this narrative. We need to see women like you challenging themselves. You are a coach, but what are you doing? You're only upgrading yourself in technology. What are you doing in this space? So
Hi,
people
Suman.
like...
So someone has just joined. Okay. Yeah, I'm just Go ahead, Suman. Yeah.
So I personally feel that it is people like you and me who believe in this concept that, if you want to remain relevant tomorrow, you cannot avoid the digital space. You need to get more conversant with the digital space. And if that is the truth, then how about seeing women like Preeta? How about seeing other women in the CXO space? How they're coming to the forefront. They're being interviewed by the business world regularly. And so many of us are experiencing it because of the fact that we are locked down at home. So we are forced to see what is the news today, apart from the COVID, depressing news that we confront on a day-to-day basis. This is what is here for us to see and observe, and it has to be driven from within. I'll repeat what I said earlier. The narrative we tell ourselves, we have to move from the mindset saying that's not my cup of tea to that is, if I want to remain relevant tomorrow, I have no option.
Yes. So basically what you're saying is there isn't any option. It is important we upgrade ourselves, and we're anyway doing it. So the moment, in fact, the takeaway, for this is that the moment you say, hey, that's not something that I can do, that's probably a reminder for you to jump into, get going and doing that. Because probably it's you're getting out of your own comfort zone.
That's correct.
Right, and taking that step to do it. So you're just saying, just do it. I mean, men or women, it is important to be in the digital space, so just be there and get yourself, get visible, is what you're saying.
You nailed it, Preeta. The comfort zone, the cliched place that we ourselves used to keep telling ourselves. So the narrative we told ourselves. So we need to move out from there. We need to get into an uncomfortable zone, because tomorrow is what nobody can predict. At best, they can tell us it might be like this. It's a new tomorrow, or it's a new era that we are going to step into. People talk about, now, earlier it was BC and AD, now it will be pre-COVID and post-COVID. There's so many things coming into the forefront these days. So I think it's high time that we start telling ourselves, and that is the only way. There's no way you can tell a woman to do what she wants, what she should do. If you tell a woman, it's what you are telling her to do. But as a coach, you keep prodding and needling a person till that comes out from within, and she says, yes, I must get this, I must get this going. So I think women like you are really needed in today's times, where you lead by example.
Sure. I mean, I think all of us are doing our thing, so great. So, good point there, Suman. So, I slightly wanted to move into, a sensitive angle. I think we were talking about this last time, but let me bring the whole aspect of digital space and the challenges that it has for women, like especially in terms of, one is the women's presence there. I mean, even if you go to the digital world, 70% of the people who are actually viewing information in the internet are only men, so it is, whether it is an external world, hi Subhashini, hi Satvik, hi. So whether it is an external world or the digital world that we're there, it is dominated by men, okay, and especially in the internet world, the kind of viewing that is done also is not a great one. It's not a pleasant one. So, and given that, and today running a business, trying to get women leads online, it becomes extremely tough for me to do that, because when I first became public in Facebook, right? First of all, knowing Facebook as a technology, one of the reasons where I did not interact in Facebook was, of course, the resistance of handling technology. But after you got to know of that, the kind of messages that came, or some of the comments, and some of those things were not something that it actually made me take a step back. And then now, once I've started a business seriously, I said, whatever it is, I am going public, and let's go face it. So what are your views, when it is cyber stalking, when are things that are like unto-do by nature that's happening that we need to deal with? What are those, again, steps that you think that we need to take as a digital entrepreneur?
Hi,
Subhashini. Yeah.
Preeta, it's I strongly feel that there are two sides, to any individual. One, what he wants to portray to the in the forefront, and another is his the internal instincts that he faces. So let's take both the aspects for both a man and a woman. So when you look at a man, we need to understand the change a man is going through. He is also conditioned by his generation, by the society, and his society tells him that he is the breadwinner. His mindset, it's very, very clear that if it is digital, if it is machine, if it is challenging, if it needs, a lot of brain and not brawn, then it is a man who has to do it. So when a man meets a woman who thinks contrary to this, there is one side where he wants to encourage, whereas the other side says, this is not for you. Why don't you just, even when you look at a man with his spouse, I mean, if at one time he says, I want to help out in the house, and he genuinely does. But when there is a need in the house, supposing, a cup of tea has to be made, very naturally he tells his spouse to go and make his tea. So there's a conflict happening within. And for a woman too. If a child is ill, very naturally the woman tells her man that, I will take care of the child. She says, I can do this better. The child will come to me better. I will adapt to what the child needs, and I understand him better. And on the other side, she starts rebelling or opposing the man when he says, you do it. So there's a conflict happening within a woman too. So personally, I feel the lesser the conflict, the easier it is to adapt. So if you start telling yourself that you need to move on, so for a man, of course, the narrative will be different, and for a woman, it will be different. But if you need to move on, you need to tell yourself that. There is no recipe, or there is no one or two things which you can point out and say, do this and you'll get it. No, then technology will move on. I was very intrigued by one example which was given to me by a person I look up to. And he told me, all of us have cell phones. I mean, that's a no-brainer. All of us today, we think it's a need of our life. He says, do you keep getting messages in your cell phone to update the software? I said, yeah, we do that on a regular basis. And he says, what do you do? I said, we press the update button and it updates. So he said, we need to update the software in our brains too. We need to tell ourselves, that times are moving, and that conflict that is there in any individual, we need to ensure that there is lesser and lesser of the two, and just understand our place and our equation in any relationship.
Excellent point, Suman. And hi, Rahul. Thanks for joining there. Rahul is someone who joined in yesterday's discussion too. And so, in fact, he wanted to get interviewed because he wanted to add value to this topic. So we'll talk about that, Rahul. But I think this is an excellent point you made, that, this upgrading of the software, that's something that, the phone is one, but we need to, whether man or women, we need to keep upgrading that, because anyway, software the versions are getting upgraded as fast as yesterday. So
that's correct.
While we are learning, in the real world, digital world, while we are learning to a particular version, and by the time we settle with it, there is another version that's coming up, and that's exactly what's happened with me.
You need to press the update button.
Yeah, and in fact, going by the brain-based methodology of coaching that I do, with a lot of brain knowledge nuggets that I give to people, in my students who are my coachees, one of the things that I actually helps, in the, Suman, you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Suman, are you able to hear me? You're not able to hear you? Just a second, I'll get you back in. Let me get you back in. Just a second, you just hang on there, I'll get you back. You hang in there, I'll get you back in. Yeah, so I think this network issues that are there happened yesterday too. There was a voice problem, but so they'll just sort of. So what I was trying to explain, as Suman is coming back, one of the things that I actually tell my coaches is like, sort of. Suman, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Strength 5.
Okay, so one of the things that I tell using brain-based methodology of coaching is like sort of having those new kind of wiring done on a consistent basis, because it helps sort of build connections everywhere in the brain, right?
Absolutely.
So when you do the software upgradation, whether it is digital or it is brain-based, the more you upgrade, the more younger you feel life, the more there you are, like, trying to take up things, and probably you don't get as bored, because if you go on doing the same thing all over again and again and again, there will be a point when that energy or that zeal, is not there, right? So in that sense, I think your point was perfect, bang on that. This is, of course, for man or women, we just need to keep upgrading ourselves, right?
That's correct.
So it's going back to that question too, probably whether it is cyber stalking or trying, facing those challenges. I think we need to understand what are the laws, what are the cyber laws, and keep ourselves upgraded, get cautious, see what is the kind of message that we are sending on a consistent basis. So depending upon the message that we send is how people also would respond to you, right? So those were some of the points that I also gathered from the interviews that I did with other leaders. So I think, so
Rita, I'd like to add on here as a point here. Women are used, just think about the yesteryears when you joined college or when I joined college. We were used to being ragged. Cyber stalking is what? If we can't handle cyber stalking, we handle that. From the years when our parents went to college, where going to college itself was a challenge. Taking that call, and parents really objected, would a woman be able to go alone, or does she need an escort? From those days to a generation next where they said, no, we can manage ourselves, and women then stepped out and started going to colleges, to a generation next when women said, we'll go enter the working world, to a generation next where today we have T-Hub in Hyderabad and we have V-Hub in Hyderabad. So we have women entrepreneurs coming out in full swing. In fact, I would like to name a society in Hyderabad, and Abids, where there is a whole sect of women, underprivileged women, who are striving to come out of the shackles of the yesteryears. They want to become entrepreneurs. There's a lot of objection. There's a lot of hassle they are facing to come out. But they are, and the hassle is not only from a man, it's from their mothers-in-law, from their sisters, from their parents. So it is a generation issue, not a man and a woman issue.
Sure. And I think in the digital space, somehow all of these things just gets vanished. That's where, the power comes into place.
Yes.
Where the flexibility is there. We as women can probably work, at the laptop, do these webinars, whatever that you're doing, and then go back and probably have a cup of tea, take care of them, come back. So you also are able to hopefully able to balance both in a better way.
Yes.
And these discussions of, getting out and all those things probably is, it wouldn't be there, right? It just vanishes to a certain extent. So we
absolutely
become quite powerful, So that's very nice. So Suman, any other views to this topic? That you want to, sort of a message that you want to give to the viewers there, and say women influencers.
Rita, I'd say in today's world, knowledge is power.
Right.
So get genned up, be ready to change with the times. Don't let age and gender issues cloud your thinking. I believe that is the key to the future, which is so unknown even now.
Sure. So don't let age or gender cloud your mind. Take those steps, upgrade your software in your mind on a consistent basis.
Yes.
And the other thing that you said, which I'd never forget, is be dependent emotionally. It's okay to be independent physically, okay to be independent mentally, is what you say.
Yes, but yes. Financially.
Yes. But emotionally, it's good to be dependent on each other, because that brings a wonderful kind of connection and relationship that you can flourish and build on, right?
Yes.
So that's an excellent takeaway, Suman. So now time for you to ask me one question, and then we'll sort of close in a lighter note.
Sure. Sure, Preeta, so if I have to ask you, what is the one thing that has that you feel that has empowered you to touch the lives of so many women? What is your answer going to be?
What has empowered me?
What has empowered you to touch the lives of so many women?
Yeah, so this is basically, I think it's already telling you this, right? It's basically based on my own experiences that I've gone through. I was working in the corporate world. I, took a natural break. As a family, we went out on my husband's project, and we came back. And so there was, after having worked for around 10 to 11 years full-time job, though I have close to 20 years of experience overall, the full-time job experience is 11 years. So when I was trying to get back to the corporate world after the break, there were issues that I faced. Issues was one, pay gap. Okay, two is the number of hours of work. Three is I was actually competing with youngsters. I went there and I saw all my people, all my peers are either had gone up the ladder or I didn't know where they were. So I was trying to build a network, because I got back to Hyderabad and I saw I didn't know anyone. People had either moved out of the place, gone up the ladder or whatever it is. So that's when, actually I thought I should join a networking organization, and BNI happened when thought process was on that I need help. And after having tasted entrepreneurship and freelancing, I felt it gave me more flexibility. I could, juggle between this and that better rather than going there 10 a.m. and coming back at 9:30 p.m. in the night. And so these were some of the things which I felt, there are those very, very skilled women, extremely qualified women who are there, but totally vanish after a point of time. You don't see them in the senior leadership. You don't see them in entrepreneurship. So then where are they? They're there at home. They're there at home probably doing domestic work. I don't know. So I feel I want to, sort of people like me who went through my own experiences, I want to get those people out, take that step, whatever it is that you want to do, whether it is a simple, even if it is like a knitting, you can actually start off a business online today, given the kind of opportunity that we have. So I want
Absolutely.
So the kind of help that I do is to create goals. The goals may be professional goals, it may be personal goals, whatever that you feel that you are passionate about because of whatever situations that you couldn't do in the past, or something that you want to improve from the current level to the next level. I can help in creating those inspiring goals. So these are goals, not like performance appraisal goals in the organization where you say, okay, this is a gap, so this is where you need to get trained. But this is something you'll be emotionally connected with. It's a life goals that you make, and I help them achieve it. So that's the space that I'm trying to, crack.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Preeta. Technology has helped you string all these women from different walks of life together and helped them think out of the box from where they are, or upgrade their software, so to say.
Definitely. And thanks, Nivedita, for joining, and Ashwin, I think, was also watching us. So great. And I don't know how to end this, but let's end it with probably something lighter, Suman. Probably what will you go back and do? A cool thing that you'll go back and do for your people who are really close now back home. Anything different that you want to do? We're all in this COVID situation, trying to, wash utensils, and whether man or women, we're trying to battle that out. In fact, between my husband and I, we have a chart that we've made that Sundays and Mondays he cooks, and the rest of the days I cook anyway. So, probably we need to get into those kind of discussions. So what do you think you will go do for your close people when you get back? Something different.
I teach my son how to wash utensils better. and I teach my daughter, or I stand and supervise while my daughter-in-law cooks. So I've learned to play the, the cliched mother-in-law very well. And I'm loving it because all of us are at home. We are spending time together. And it's helping me upskill myself. So I'm loving I'm making maximum use of a bad situation.
Yeah. Excellent, Sumin. Great talking to you, and sorry for all the technology glitches and everything. Finally, we made this happen. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you. Would love to connect to Nivedita and Rahul or Subhashini.
Ashwin. And, yeah.
Any questions that you feel I could address?
Yeah, sure. Exactly. The viewers, you have any questions? Some of them have been, viewing my interviews, and any questions you have, you can type it in there. We'll be glad to answer. If not, this video will be available in my YouTube channel. You can have a look at it again. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Preeta. Pleasure interacting with you. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Stay home. Bye-bye.